Have you ever wished you could talk to your TV? I don't know, just imagine something and have the TV display a picture of it. Well, in this demo, we're going to use a combination of technologies, including QR codes, speech recognition, Socket I/O, and generative AI from OpenAI to do exactly that. So let's start with the demo, and then we will dive into the technology. As you can see, I've got a QR code in the corner of the screen on my TV. So I'm going to zap that with my phone, which is going to open a page in my phone's browser. I've got the same page open right here so you can follow along and see what's happening. And we're using Socket I/O to synchronize everything across all TVs and all devices that are attached to the same system. So I'm going to tap the microphone icon on my phone and tell it what I'd like to see. Dinosaurs on rollerblades with missiles and lasers on the street of New York City. Okay, it's got it. As you can see, it's flashing. That means that it's working on it, and it's going to take a few seconds. The anticipation is exciting, and I have no idea what it's going to do. Okay, that's pretty amazing right there. That's pretty much what I had in mind. I'd be terrified of those dinosaurs. Okay, so let's go and have a look at some of the technology, and we'll see how this is all put together. So with Socket I/O, we have a server and then some web clients that can send messages in both directions. So it's quite different from a REST API because essentially the server can push information to the clients. We're going to have a very simple stateless model here that doesn't worry about devices. All TVs will show the same thing and all phones will show the same thing, just for the sake of simplicity. So in addition to all of that, the server can serve up some HTML files. We're actually going to have two. The default file called index.html is the one the TV is going to show, and then we're going to have a different page for the phone. So on the TV, the HTML is very simple. We've got that background image, got the little QR code and some text that shows the requested text on the screen. So the first thing that happens when we load the page is we are going to make a QR code for the current server, wherever it's being served from. In this case, we're using ngrok to serve it up. And we're just going to swap out that index.html page and replace it with a link to remote.html. And then we're going to display that in the QR code icon on the page right here. So when I zap that, it's going to open the other page on my phone. This is also a very simple page. It's just going to show a button with a picture of a microphone emoji, and then it's just going to show the text that I'm asking for. When I do that, basically when I tap on that microphone icon, I'm going to use some of the speech recognition capabilities that are built into modern web browsers. And this works equally well on a computer or on a mobile device using WebKit speech recognition. Amazingly powerful and simple. But essentially, it has some callbacks. So when I start recognizing, it's going to give me a callback for each word that I say. And there's a little flag that tells me if it thinks that I'm done, like I've gotten to the end of a sentence. So if it's not final, it's going to show an interim value. That's how you saw those words appearing. And if it is final, that's how we're going to trigger the actual search. In any case, we're just going to call this little function of socket.io to emit a message called interim or final, and it's going to have a little object with the text. So let's jump back to the server here. When I get a message coming in, it's going to be either interim or final. Then I'm just going to update the internal state of the server right here, which just has a couple of properties, interim, final, and the source of the image. And I'm going to broadcast that to everybody. So again, I'm not worrying about who I'm talking to. It's just like an open radio signal, just for simplicity for the demo. So if it's final, I'm going to broadcast that message. And then I'm going to call this generate function right here. And I'll show you in a moment how that works. That's going to return an image URL after about 10 seconds or so. And then I'm just going to put that into the state and broadcast it out. So to set up OpenAI, there's a small command that you're going to want to run to install the library. You're also going to want to go to their website, create an account, get an API key, and save that in the config file if you'd like to run the demo yourself. The interface for making a request is actually quite simple. You just use their OpenAI images generate function. We're going to request a really high resolution image. That's the aspect ratio for the TV. It's not cheap. It actually costs a few cents for each request, but the quality is surprisingly good. So I feel like I'm getting my money's worth right there. And that just returns the URL. So going back to the code that runs on the TV, when I get a message that's an interim message, I'm just going to display it on top of whatever's there currently with a certain opacity. And when the final message is there, I'm going to go into a pulsing mode using an animation. And I'm going to play that for as long as it takes to do the request. It does take about 10 seconds. So we're going to do this just to show the viewer that something's actually happening and so they don't get bored. Here in the CSS file, you can see some of the CSS animations. So the pulse is just changing the opacity up and down like this. And then when it's final, we're going to show it at 100% opacity, and then we're going to fade out to 0. So that's pretty much what happens. It all has a whole bunch of pieces, but when it comes together, it's a pretty powerful effect that gives you the impression of being able to talk to the TV. Let's give it one more try. The DeLorean car from the movie Back to the Future made of Legos. All right, it's thinking about it. I wonder what it's going to do. And there you have it. I actually have a DeLorean made of Legos. It looks nothing like this, but this is totally credible. So I'm pretty impressed. So there you have it. You can now talk to your TV using Senza and dream up pretty much anything you can imagine. Thanks for watching.